Welcome to episode 6 of Weird
Shit.
Wednesday. I am Kelly,
I am Carson.
and we're gonna get weird together today on
whoop.
my brand new couch.
Huzzah.
This is an upgrade.
Yes.
We have previously been crammed knees to chin with two dogs because they have to be touching us at all times on the tiniest effing love seat known to man in my house.
That's quite cozy, and I love you, and I love being all snuggly.
However, I now have a full-size couch that is like extra deep with an ottoman or a chaise. It's lovely, so we can sprawl out and be comfortable.
And it is a beautiful color, if I may say so myself.
It is this gorgeous tealy turquoise, and I love it.
It's very Kelly vibe.
Highly recommend.
Well, I'm gonna start by saying happy birthday to you. It's your birthday episode.
It is. Woo! We are T-minus, 4 days from the birthday?
Yes.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, 4 days. In 4 days, I will be turning a larger number than I currently am. No, I'll be 36. I'm very excited. I've got a lot of fun things planned this week. It's my vacation week.
Whoop, whoop.
So I don't have to go to work this week. It's glorious. So I am ready for a fun episode. I might have used my birthday as inspiration a little bit in this episode also.
As you should.
One of my sections will be a personal story.
Ooh, I'm excited.
In honor of my birthday month. So, yeah. Should we dive right into a little creature feature?
Let's do it.
Who should go first? I think you went first.
I went first last time.
So it's my turn to go first. Okay. Beautiful. Well, if you recall last time, we drew the card Temperance from the Major Arcana. And I did a deep dive because on first pass, Temperance didn't give me much to go on. It was kind of all touchy-feely, happy-go-lucky things, which in this podcast just isn't what we do.
Touchy-feely stuff can get weird sometimes, but also...
Fair. Don't be touchy-feeling anybody without their consent, otherwise you are a fucking weirdo.
We don't like that weird shit.
That's not the weird shit we're here for.
Get that out of here.
So I did a little digging, and I did some research on the card itself, because I wanted to tie it in somehow. And I was struggling at first, but I eventually found out that the card of Temperance is frequently tied with alchemy, because often the card is shown with a figure pouring from one cup into another, which is often used as symbology for alchemy. Oh. So I figured that's a really interesting kind of area of topic.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a lot of information, so I wanted to broaden it. And since it's International Women's Month, I wanted to feature a badass woman. And one of the most prominent figures in alchemy and prominent goddesses representing alchemy is the goddess Isis.
Oh.
So I'm going to do a little kind of just brief overview of what alchemy is for those who maybe don't know. A little history lesson. But then I'm going to focus on Isis as my main top creature feature and talk a little bit about her very strange marriage. It's a little weird, but, we listen and we don't judge. We might judge a little on this one.
A little bit.
Yeah. And then I have a little story of Isis that's kind of funny, where she tricks an angel. And I kind of like it. So,
alrighty.
Let's dive in, shall we? So, the card alchemy originated in ancient Egypt. That's how we get to Isis. And spread to other parts of the world, including Greece, Rome, Arabia, China, and India. The word alchemy comes from the Arabic phrase alchemia, which refers to Egyptians' preparation of the elixir or stone. And this is kind of tied to like their preparation of bodies after death and the mummification process.
Okay.
Alchemy led to the discovery of many minerals and acids, as well as alcohol. So, woot woot, thank you, alchemy. Also influenced the development of pharmacology and modern chemistry.
Alrighty.
So, alchemy is an ancient practice aimed at recreating precious substances using recipes and transformative materials, such as the Philosopher's Stone, which you may have heard of if you're a Potterhead. Alchemists believed materials such as gold, silver, gems, and purple dye, which at the time alchemy was created were the most precious commodities one could obtain, that these could be created recreated if the right combination of ingredients and transformative methods were found. Other avenues of exploration in later centuries were aimed at increasing the potency of medicine, finding an elixir that could prolong life, and achieving the redemption of the soul. Ancient alchemists had a two-pronged strategy to transform ordinary substances into precious materials. The first was to remove what was considered certain characteristics or impurities, say of a particular metal, in order to leave behind a purer version of the original substance. The second was to combine different substances to create a new material, or at least a new colored version, in a sort of chemical exercise. Alchemists used all manner of ingredients in their recipes, but the most common were sulfur, salt, soda, lead, and mercury. The former for their association with ancient practices like mummification, and the last two because of their liquid properties. Their equipment included crucibles in which substance were heated, miniature furnaces, glass tubes and beakers, and different apparatuses for distillation. In effect, then, the workbenches of these alchemists were the first chemical laboratories. There were, though, very often a mystical element to these proceedings as well. Many alchemists not only believed that the right combination of substance had to be achieved, but that the experiments also had to be conducted at particular times a day or under certain horoscopes. They would often also use spells and incantations as part of their practices. One of the most prominent symbols of alchemy is the goddess Isis. And since it's International Women's Month, I figured she's a perfect, because she is a badass.
Yeah.
She is a really cool goddess.
Okay. I don't know much about her, so
let me introduce you to Isis. Well, first of all, works out perfectly because I've always loved ancient Egyptian lore and mythology, and their gods are so interesting. But Isis has always been one of my favorite because she is the only female god, goddess, and ruler to have overpowered her male counterpart.
Oh, okay.
And become more important than the male counterpart. So she's the OG badass.
Okay. She's this is my show now.
So she's often referred to as the Great Mother. She's the goddess of healing and magic, and is crucial to ancient Egyptian religious beliefs. She's known today as Isis. However, the ancient Egyptians called her Aset. Her name translates to the Queen of the Throne. So the most high ruler.
Okay.
And she's often reflected wearing a headdress shaped like a throne. In the womb, they were twins.
Oh, so we got some Cersei and Jaime.
Yeah, we've got a little Cersei, Jaime Lannister action happening here. Yeah. So, like I said, we listen and we don't judge.
Only a little bit.
But we are talking incest, so we're going to judge a little. So, yes. And they did have children together.
Okay.
The most notable of which is Horus, the protector of the pharaohs.
Yep.
She is started as a secondary figure to her husband. But after thousands of years of worship, she transformed into the queen of the universe in the embodiment of the cosmic order, and therefore was more important than her husband.
Get it, girl.
By the Roman period, she was believed to control the power of fate itself.
Okay, so getting kind of on the level of the Moray.
Yeah, she's uber powerful. She was best known as a powerful sorceress and healer. She was also a fiercely protective mother and loyal wife. Her act of healing and compassion were renowned throughout the land, and those who threatened her loved ones, however, did so at their own peril.
Bum, bum, bum. Don't mess with Mama Bear.
No. She was known for wielding powerful healing spells and was often depicted in human form, carrying a cistern, which is an ancient instrument. While other Egyptian gods were replaced or discarded during this time, each new pharaoh would have a favorite god and they would focus on that god and ignore. She continued to be worshipped long into the Greek and Roman periods. For a time, prevailing through the Greco-Roman culture, Isis, it was believed, had created the world, and that all of their gods were simply alternate names for Isis. And her cult remains active to this day, and the goddess has become an integral part of modern paganism. So I have a little story about Isis that gives you a little bit of kind of insight into how wonderful she is, and actually ties into alchemy as well.
Okay.
So it kind of brings it all together. So this is the story of Isis the prophetess. And here's how it goes. So it says, Horus sets out to battle Typhon, and Isis goes to the city of Hormonouthi. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Where the secret art of Egypt is practiced in secret. She stays there a while, but as she is leaving, an angel catches sight of her and wants to have sex with her. Typical man.
Yeah.
She says, not until you tell me of the preparation of gold and silver. Highly disappointed, the angel says he cannot reveal that information, as it is a great mystery, but that a higher angel, Amnael, would come the next day and he would be able to answer that question. The next day, Amnael comes. He shows Isis a certain sign he had on his head, as well as a vase not coated with pitch and filled with a transparent water that he held in his hands, and that he wouldn't give her the secrets. Apparently, Amnael said, the first prophet and angel among us, that's what he called himself, was also taken with the lust for the goddess. And the two go back and forth on that topic for a couple of days until Amnael can't stand it any longer and agrees to reveal the alchemical secrets to Isis. First, he swear a mighty oath by fire, water, light, and darkness, and earth, and by a variety of the Greek gods and Egyptian deities. She swears and promises that she would never reveal the secrets to anyone but Horus.
Doesn't make any promise about what Horus is going to reveal it to, though.
Yes. But she does. So she tricked the angel into giving her the secrets and then shared them with her people.
I love it.
I love it. But yeah, so there are a couple other goddesses and kind of important deities that they are often attributed to, like either being connected with Isis or maybe like a different version of her. One of the more popular ones or more well-known is Miriam from the Hebrew belief system. And it says like her fellow magician god Hermes, aka Thoth, the goddess Isis, is associated with alchemy, and is referenced in the book, the True Book of Soph, the Egyptian, and the God of the Hebrews. And so she can be she's also mentioned like through like in using different names, but throughout the Old Testament, and in a lot of like early chemistry books as well. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting.
Very cool. Those angels should have had Isis sign a NDA.
Right?
Like, we'll tell you, but you can't tell anybody else.
Yes. It's perfect.
That's a little weird.
No, it's perfect. And honestly, back then, that was common practice.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even as recent as like the Victorian era, royals would marry relatives to keep the bloodline pure. So, you know, today's society, that's real freaking strange.
And wrong.
And just not okay. And we now have the science to prove, like,
why it's bad. And
what incest does to your DNA and how. Yeah, that is my creature feature for today.
Very cool.
I kept it short because my other two are kind of long.
Alrighty. So, for my creature feature, it's very funny that you mentioned that Isis made a deal or tricked an angel, because my creature feature references some angels, so we're
kind of
tied
on
together a little bit.
On the same area.
Yes, ma'am. So we're gonna go back in time a little bit for the origins of my creatures.
Okay.
My cryptid. Back in May of 2011, a devastating tornado hit the town of Joplin, Missouri, leveling buildings and killing around 158 people. So it was a big one. I believe it was large. A F4 or an F5.
Eek.
So big storm. To those that survived, the children of the families would share these stories about humanoid creatures that they then became nicknamed the butterfly people.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. That sounds interesting.
Uh-huh.
I like butterflies. They're pretty.
They're very pretty.
I have a feeling you're about to ruin them for me.
I don't think so.
I hope not, but you got that look in your face that I can just not fully trust.
Yeah, I'm just keeping you on your toes, keeping you guessing. So after the aftermath of this devastating tornado that went through Joplin, survivors would like be being treated at the hospital or at Red Cross centers that were propped up, and this is where a lot of stories started to pop up. These stories were told mainly by small children, the parents in the hospital waiting room, standing in line for water or donated food, and to Red Cross counselors that were assisting in the aftermath. Multiple children of varied ethnicities and socioeconomic status told eerily similar stories of seeing beautiful humanoid creatures with wings hovering over certain children and parents in that storm in a protective manner. They were described as colorful and pretty, so children called them butterfly people.
Aww.
Yeah. So it wasn't just like one location or one specific kind of like ethnicity or like group of children. It was like
just a bunch of different kids.
Exactly, a bunch of different kids, a bunch of different demographics, and like a lot of different like relief sites. These stories had a pretty common element. Tornado hit their home. Often parents were praying. The roof or something was either ripped off or broken into or devastated from the tornado, from the high winds, and children would see a butterfly person descending down from the sky and covering them with their wings. Those particular children usually emerged from the wreckage in good condition. Other versions of the story state that children saw butterfly people carrying other kids and adults up to the heavens.
Aww.
Assumedly, these are the ones that didn't make it out alive, and presumably them carrying
That's
their souls.
So sad, but also kind of pretty.
Yeah. About one half of the children were counseled at Joplin Child Trauma Treatment Centers set up in the schools afterward. The clinical director of Danielle Robinson heard these stories firsthand from many different children. Many of these children stated that they somehow knew that these butterfly people were there to calm them and keep them safe.
Aww.
Yeah. There's many theories that have circulated resulting as a result of this phenomenon. Most skeptics believe that the stories are a result of mass hysteria, where stress from a near-death experience would cause people to believe that they are seeing something supernatural before their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
This can also explain many other instances of people sharing their stories of supernatural encounters as angels during tragedies such as like seen after the destruction of the Twin Towers and the September 11 attacks. It should also go without saying that Joplin is kind of within the Bible Belt of the country.
That's very true.
So it kind of makes sense that, maybe we're seeing what could be construed as angels.
Interesting.
Yeah. So as such, the idea of there being this miraculous explanation behind many of the near-death experience could be explained away as a result of these predetermined beliefs. So angels and all that is pretty heavily within the Christian faith and stuff, and like coming to protect loved
the whole
ones,
idea of
the
like
guardian angel,
a protector.
Mm-hmm.
And that's come in a lot of theologies, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, different versions of it. Believers of the unnatural phenomenon believe that the butterfly people are in truth angels. So funny that it ties in with Isis there.
Yeah, there you go. Angels everywhere.
Mm-hmm. But because the children are still developing, many believe that they instead perceive them as butterfly people because they couldn't visualize what they would perceive an angel to be. Prior to the tornado, a mural artist was visiting the town to start a new project. After the storm, he arrived to a town meeting to find some volunteers. Thousands of the volunteers offered a lending hand, and a majority of them being children who drew several pictures depicting the butterfly people. So I couldn't.
Is there a mural of it?
Yeah, there's a mural of like of a butterfly that kind of like has like butterfly wings, but it also looks like
humanoid.
Like it could be an angel.
Cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah, so despite some skepticism, the artist saw that the butterfly people represented a rebirth of sorts to the town and depicted that in the mural once they were getting things back on their feet.
I love that.
Some people like to believe that the butterfly people may be related in some degree to Mothman.
Mothman!
Mothman! Right. Well, that's what happened in the world back in 2011. What's going on in the world right now?
Well, I have a fun one. So
nice little segue.
Yes. I am actually really excited about this because anybody who knows me knows that I am a true crime junkie,
Mm-hmm.
uh, especially where serial killers are involved, which is it's probably an unhealthy obsession at this point, but they fascinate me.
Mm-hmm. It's
Um,
just nutty because
it's just
it's the psychology behind it,
yes,
and the fact that there is not necessarily a rhyme or reason behind it, because you
no,
could get some people that, yes, they grew up in a horrible
yeah.
childhood, horrible situation and growing up, and like sometimes, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
You
that
can
the
see
person
like, oh, maybe you've got some serious mental struggles, and it's
Mhm.
right. But
But then
some
you
of them
also
are just
some people who have a normal
twisted.
childhood and then they just turn out that way, and I'm like, why? What? Huh? And then you also get people that have the horrible like childhood and whatnot, but they rise above and
and become lovely humans.
and they become lovely humans because they address that shit and they go to
Because
therapy.
therapy!
Therapy works, guys.
Therapy fixes most problems.
If you put the work in.
Yes, if you actually do the therapy.
Yes. Don't just go.
Do the work. I also tagged this into our card, so yay, 2 for 2.
2 for 2.
But the card, Temperance, one of the main representations of it is patience, which we kind of referenced in the beginning here.
Mhm.
And as a true crime follower, one of the biggest tests of patience is all those infamous unsolved mysteries that just never have an answer.
Yeah.
So you get into like these famous, like super well known, there's documentaries about them, there's all this information, but we don't know what happened.
Mhm.
However, patience may have paid off this year because one of the most famous serial killer cases in the entire world might have been solved
Ooh.
in 2025.
Really? Okay, because I know I wonder who this could be, because I know we solved the Golden State Killer
Correct.
because of DNA.
And that is related to how this was solved
Oh, cool.
because it's using the same processes.
Ah.
So in February of this year, many news sources began to print stories that said, thanks to DNA advancements and genealogical studies, we may finally know the identity of the one and only Jack the Ripper.
No way.
Yes, like the OG serial killer.
Bum, bum, bum.
130 years ago is when he tormented Whitechapel, and it might finally be solved.
Ooh.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about Jack the Ripper because I'm not going to talk super much about him because if you don't know who Jack the Ripper is by this point and you're listening to a podcast like this, you're living in a hole somewhere.
Yeah, you've been under a rock.
But I want to talk
a brief overview.
I want to focus mostly on kind of the victims, the nature of the crime, and how it kind of led into. We're going to talk a little bit about the main suspects that they've always kind of had all along.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a little background on each of them and why they think they would be a good suspect. And then I'm going to let you see if you can guess which one is the true killer.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So,
a little guessing game. Who's behind door number 1?
Well, there's 5 doors, so you get to pick one of 5.
Okay, cool.
So, anyone who
like
is interested in true crime has heard the gory story of the Whitechapel murders. And the world-renowned serial killer known as Jack the Ripper. Dozens of books, movies, documentaries, and podcasts, like this one, have covered him in great detail. But we'll recap a little bit. So Jack the Ripper was active in 1888 in London, England, specifically in the Whitechapel district, which is one of the poorest neighborhoods of Victorian England. Between August and November of 1888, he murdered 5 women, all of whom made a living in the sex trade. The official confirmed victims are Marianne Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine, known as Kate Eddowes, who comes into play later, and Mary Jane Kelly. These are the only confirmed victims of the Ripper, but many suspect there were more, up to 11 victims total, that happened earlier in that year. But they were not in the same area as the Ripper, and they were slightly different. But only because the previous victims, not all of them died from the attacks. Mm-hmm. So because he was so efficient in his kills of those 5 women, they're not 100% sure if they're connected. Mm-hmm. Also, forensics back then just didn't exist. So there's
Yeah.
Like maybe they were, but these ones for sure because the MO was exactly the same.
Okay.
Each victim had their throat slit and their abdomens mutilated, and several organs removed.
Hmm.
So it was a very brutal, very violent attack.
Mm-hmm.
Due to the nature of the attacks, the police suspected the assailant had either medical or at least anatomical knowledge. Throughout the investigation, they considered several suspects, the 5 most common being these ones. The first one was John Druitt, who was a local schoolmaster who had a reputation for being sexually insane, is how they described him.
Mm-hmm.
And ironically, the murders stopped right around the same time he committed suicide by jumping into the Thames.
Oh, okay.
So,
coincidence?
Coincidence?
Maybe.
Coincidental timing, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Our second suspect is Carl Fagenbaum, who was a merchant sailor and a diagnosed psychopath, and had admitted to other mutilations of women around this time, prior to being executed. So
we've got a track record.
So we've got some history of violent tendencies. Yeah, not a great person. Bachelor number 3 is Aaron Kosminski. He was a local barber. He was known for having a strong hatred of women and was eventually sent to an asylum in 1889 for homicidal ideation after he pulled a knife on his sister.
Huh. Nice brother.
Right? Here, sister. Bachelor number 4 is Francis Craig. He was the husband to the final Ripper victim and a local reporter, which will come into play in a minute here.
Kind of throwing people off his trail. Maybe.
Well, a big part of this case has to do with the paper. And we'll get to that. Okay. And then our 5th suspect is Walter Sickert, a local artist who was known for painting sex workers. They use other words. When this article I read, I'm choosing to use sex worker because that's the appropriate term in modern times. Mm-hmm. That is not the word they used. Fair warning.
Fill in the blank.
Starts with a P. That helps. And he was also known for painting very dark, gory imagery, some of which had eerie similarities to the murders.
Okay.
So very similar imagery, mutilations, etc.
Gotcha.
So one of the biggest and most intriguing pieces of the Jack the Ripper case is that, like I said with the local reporters, various letters, like hundreds of letters, were sent to authorities during this time of the murders. Throughout the investigation, these letters were delivered to the police, newspapers, and people of power in that area, offering unsolicited advice on how to solve the murders, maybe ideas of who might have committed the murders, and some even claiming to be from the murderer himself. It was one of these letters that created the moniker Jack the Ripper. The letter, which claimed to come from the assailant, detailed the murders and how he planned to continue, was signed Jack, the Ripper. At the end of the day, the most valuable piece of evidence, however, ended up being a bloody shawl from the 4th victim, Catherine Eddowes, because she fought back.
Good girl.
And she bloodied her assailant.
Good girl.
So this DNA was extracted a long time ago, and they were able to confirm that it was not her DNA on the shawl that was with her.
Okay.
And that it was male. But back then they didn't have the science that we did now to determine anything beyond that.
Right.
So it's just kind of sat there. But last year, a man named Russell Edwards, who has spent many, many years investigating this case and doing everything he can to learn everything he can about the Ripper cases, he has taken that DNA from the bloodstained shawl and matched it to one of the 5 people I just mentioned using genealogy. He worked with a professional genealogist and traced a living relative back to this person and then matched the DNA sequence to them, and it was able to prove that they were related.
Okay. I don't think that's something I would, if I found out that I was related to Jack the Ripper, I don't think I want to go around advertising like, hey, my great-great-great-great-grandpa.
Especially considering the current living relative is a female.
Oh, yeah. Nope.
So my question for you, I have the answer, and I have a little background on this person. Who do you think the killer is?
Ooh.
Is it the schoolmaster? that was sexually insane, the psychopathic merchant sailor, the local barber who hated women, the husband of the final victim, or the deranged artist?
I'm kind of torn between the reporter and the artist because, like, I keep going back to, like, art imitates life, life imitates art kind of argument there. Because if he's already seen these things in his head, either he's painting something he's already done, or, like, he's painting something he's seen / aka
Okay.
done, or he's doing things that he has painted because it was already, like, in his head. So he's like, well, it's already there. I'm going to go do it.
That's very good logic. You're incorrect, though. I'll give you a hint.
Uh-huh.
If I sing The Worst Pies in London, does it give
It
you
was
any-
the barber?
It was the barber! Aaron
The
Kosminski.
Pies in London.
Yes. So yes, Aaron Kosminski is the person whose relative matched the DNA.
Oh my god.
He was a Polish immigrant who moved to England in the early 1880s. He was a barber. They also refer to him as a hairdresser, so I think he did a little of both. Who worked in the Whitechapel district, very near where the murders took place.
Mm-hmm.
He suffered from paranoid schizophrenia and was eventually committed to an asylum after pulling a knife on his sister, where he resided until he died in 1919.
So we have like a real life Sweeney Todd.
We had a real life Sweeney Todd.
Wow.
Except for they didn't eat their victims.
Yeah.
Or he didn't eat his victims.
Yeah, but whoa.
Yeah. The literal Jack the Ripper was the like in real life Sweeney Todd.
Wow.
Yeah. So what I will leave you with is that in recent years, many cold cases have begun being solved with DNA and genealogical science, such as the Golden State Killer. You know, how could it have been tainted? Like, how accurate could this possibly be?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my final question is Kosminski really the Ripper, or is the true killer still at large?
Bum, bum, bum. Oh my gosh. A little local.
Okay.
Again. But we're gonna be saying what in the world?
Okay. I like it.
Because we are jumping onto the Webernets of good old local Facebook marketplace.
Oh, you're gonna say what in the world, all right.
That
is a dangerous location.
Yes. So I went down this rabbit hole because my coworker Carly, shout out to her, she is awesome. She is my at work bestie. There where we will literally like do one task and then go bug each other for 10-15 minutes and just like, oh, it was so hard, and then go back to doing what we need to do.
I love it.
But no one will ever.
You gotta have a work bestie.
No one will ever take your place though.
You better not. I'll fight him.
Okay. So Carly got me down this rabbit hole because she was scouring Facebook Marketplace for some reason. I don't remember what she was looking for. I think she was just bored and took a minute. Sometimes you just
dive into the weird side of the internet and see what comes up.
Yes, and she found one item which is on my list, but I'm going to save it for last.
Okay.
Because it is the weirdest of them all.
All right.
But since then, I have also been pinging around on the local Facebook page just to see what strange things I can find. So we're going to play a little game.
Oh.
I have pictures of some of the items I found.
Beautiful.
I'm going to read you the description, start with it, and show you the picture. And then I want you to try and guess how much people are asking for this particular item.
You do realize we both just played a game in our What in the World? I played the Bachelor game and you're playing The Price is Right.
Let's go.
We're the same. It's like him encased in the metal stuff. I can't remember the name of it right now.
This stands about 6 feet tall and has an awesome 3D look to it. Han Solo frozen in carbonite from Star Wars.
That's what I was looking for.
It is a cardboard frame, so it is easy to fold up and take with you. Great for parties, gags, and man caves.
Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit of logic.
Uh-huh.
Because that's how you play Price is Right.
Exactly.
I grew up watching this. I am of the era that when you stayed homesick, it was either Unsolved Mysteries or Price is Right. And sometimes also mysteries when you're home alone as a child in the middle of the woods just didn't hit right.
And no, it's unsettling.
It's unsettling. I loved it, and I still watch it to this day. But, so Star Wars is a huge franchise with very loyal fans.
Yes.
I know one of them.
Yes. I was like, I'm surprised.
I'm surprised this isn't his listing, to be honest.
I was actually surprised, too.
I probably should have sent it to him. He probably would have bought it.
Yeah.
I do know people pay a lot of money for collectibles in general,
Mhm.
but Star Wars is one that is extra expensive.
Mhm.
The fact that it is life size at
Mhm.
6 feet tall means it's probably going to come with a sticker shock. Cardboard does lower the value a little
Yep.
because it's not like a plastic mold or like metal or wood, whatever.
Mhm.
So I'm going to say $475.
You are way out of the ballpark. You're actually a little too high. This person actually is selling it for a very generous $45.
That's a freaking steal.
I know.
Oh my god.
So I think
That thing's worth way more than $45.
Absolutely. So
That is a steal. Someone go buy that right now.
Yep. It's
Carbo, go buy it.
Carbo, there is a $45.
Legitimately, we should send that to him.
Yes,
He would buy it if it's still for sale.
Oh yeah, 100%. So that was our first item.
Okay.
We're starting up. It's like
Okay,
and that's
I
like
need to lowball. I can get that.
And that's a semi-normal.
That's a quasi like niche market, but understandable collectible.
And you can in this picture, it's like it looks like a billiards table that is literally just stacked with bullseye.
That's a lot
dogs.
of bullseyes.
And they have like costumes. They have different little holiday outfits. They're different sizes. There's some big ones. There's some like little Beanie Baby sized ones. Like we got a bunch in there. I'm gonna give you a range.
Okay.
For this one, between 200 and 3,000.
Oh, okay. So more than I initially thought.
I'm just giving you a ballpark here.
I will say, and this might be judgy of me, when you put specifically in your title, no pets, no smoking, meh, 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 it gives me Karen vibes, which means the price goes up in my brain because Karen think they're entitled to more money than the rest of us, even if their shit is not worth that. So 100 dogs of various sizes. They deem it as a collection. I'm gonna say $600.
We're talking 1,800.
What the?
This person is asking 1,800.
That person's out of their damn mind if they think someone is paying $1,800 cash for fucking toy dogs. I don't care if there's 100 of them.
Like
it's Target. It's not even
Target.
like I get that they've discontinued the spot thing and it's an actual collectible. But no.
$1,800. The only reason
that means each dog is $18.
Yeah.
That's no.
Yeah. And it doesn't in the description, like they did not give the option of like saying, yes, I will sell individually.
No, like I'm sure they're selling it as a lot.
They are selling it as a lot.
That's stupid.
So I mean, if you're in the market for some bullseye collectibles,
I guarantee they're still available because no one's paying that.
Nope.
So if you got money to burn, which in this economy, who the fuck does?
Like the only thing I think I could feasibly see myself spending $1,800 on, if it was specifically for stuffed animals, is if it were like limited edition vintage Beanie Babies of like ones that but ones like I couldn't find as a kid, and that like nostalgia reasons. Like every single Beanie Baby
ever created
was in a lot.
Okay,
yes, give me it.
I'm still not paying over $1,000.
Yeah, valid. So the title for this posting,
I'm just trying to envision what this could possibly end up being.
Troll Mask - Vintage.
A mask?
It's a mask.
Who wants to be a troll for Halloween? Or cosplay or anything?
Here's the description.
Okay.
Vintage troll Halloween mask with rabbit fur gloves.
What?
This mask
was someone's kinky kink. I'm sorry, you can't convince me otherwise. Someone did the dirty in this.
Oh no. This mask can be worn and is over 25 years old. And in
that's
pretty
got sex sweat in it. I guarantee it.
It says it's in pretty good condition. You will not find another one like it.
I don't want to.
Alrighty.
Burn it with fire. Oh god, there's a picture.
Here's the picture.
Oh, okay. So this is not at all what I was imagining. I was imagining the little troll dolls with the fucking crazy ass hair. That's what I thought you were trying to sell me.
Nope.
This is actually a nice mask. I'll give him credit.
It's kind of cool. It gives me what's the gargoyle from Muppets? With the bird.
Oh, Gonzo?
Gonzo. Yeah.
It does have a Gonzo
Yeah,
nose.
it has Gonzo's nose,
If
but
Gonzo went into the Labyrinth movie and was made by Jim
Henson, yeah.
well, both are made
Well,
by
they're
Jim
made
Henson.
Henson, but like in that realm.
If Gonzo was morphed into a goblin from the Labyrinth,
Yes.
that's what this would look like.
Yes, with big bad ears and then big bushy beard, like mullet-y, not mullet.
Creepy ass fucking eyes.
Yeah, very strange. They're lopsided.
They're
looking
not
different
looking
directions.
at the same thing.
Yeah, and then just sitting next to the mask on the table in the picture, it looks like a pair of gloves. That I guess
The gloves is what really, like the mask, it actually is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I still would not. You couldn't pay me $1,800 to put that on my face.
Yeah.
But it would be a cool art piece.
Yeah.
But why the gloves?
Yeah.
Is what I want to know.
why-
What did you do with those gloves?
Why are they paired like that?
How are those gloves that are not the same color in any way, shape, or form as the rest of it? Why? Just why?
Yep.
Explain.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have an
God,
explanation.
now I gotta
but
come up with a number, don't I?
how much?
Nothing. It's worth nothing. Okay, so it's vintage.
Mhm.
Vintage automatically means people are going to jack up the price because it's vintage.
Mm-hmm.
It's not brand new. It's been used. That has an effect.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say $150.
You're close. 200. They're asking 200. It was originally marked for 250.
Okay.
And then it was brought down to 200 because I
Shocker!
assumed it had
Because
to-
nobody wants your sweaty ass mask that you did God knows what in.
Okay. Well,
Oh God, there's more.
there's more. I got 3 more. I might just.
Can we go back to serial killers? It was less scary. This is real. This is real things that people have done, and okay, I guess serial killers are too, but still, they don't live in my neighborhood.
Hey, you don't know. It's local, so
Exactly.
It very well could
This
be.
could be my neighbor Bob across the street.
Yeah. So next one is very realistic baby dolls.
Oh fuck no! Get that shit out of my house. I don't even want a picture of it.
Made
Nope,
by very
nope,
skillful artists.
No, I hate dolls. I hate dolls so much.
Here's the description. These dolls are expensive if you buy them by their creators. Made with a special type of silicone, 19 inches long, and comes with clothes. They have a certificate of adoption, including their creation / birth date. This doll has a name. Would you like to guess what his name is? Or should I show you the picture
Haunted
first?
McDemon Slayer.
Or should I show you the picture first before you
I
guess?
don't know, but I want to see this picture. I am afraid. I hate dolls so much. They're so creepy. Ew! Why is that? No! That is the ugliest effing thing. That is the ugliest doll I have ever seen in my entire life. It literally looks like you took a real ass baby and bashed its face with a hammer a couple of times.
Oh.
Why? Why would no?
Yeah.
If that thing's more than $5, I'm quitting life.
Oh, this one's name is Timothy.
No! No. We don't need any more Timothy dolls. Thank you very much. Do you not know who Timothy the doll is? No. He is the most fucking haunted doll that's actually believed to have killed someone.
Okay.
No. We don't name dolls Timothy. Does this person? Oh my God. I'm gonna die.
Do you know? Oh, so I'm gonna call it this. Do you want to know how? Do you want to guess Timothy's adoption fee?
Too much. Too much. The bones of a black cat and the heart of a virgin. And 4/10 of my soul, because that's what you've taken from me. I hate it. You knew what you were doing. I hate it so much. I hate them.
It's some weird shit. Well, this person is asking a grand total of $350 for this doll.
You know what? I would pay $350 just to light it on fire.
Hey, there we go. That's probably gonna smell awful because of the silicone.
I don't care. Burn it. Burn it with holy oil because
Kill
it's
it.
the only thing way you're killing that demon.
Get it with fire.
What? Fire won't even kill it. You need like an exorcist and a flamethrower.
All right.
Please tell me that was the last one.
No, I have 2 more.
Oh, God.
And the
Tell me there's no more dolls. That's all I ask.
there is no more dolls.
Okay, we can proceed then.
All right. Next one. We're getting a little more into the spooky, weird
Okay.
thing. Not as bad as this doll. Okay. So next photo and next item for sale is a Gothic Phantom ghost statue.
Okay, see, here on this, I'm here for this. Thank you for redeeming yourself. I was about to ask you to leave my premises.
You're welcome. This sculpture is in a sitting position, approximately 36 inches in height, and that is
that's pretty tall.
That's all the
That's
picture.
all you give me?
That's all the description it gives.
Is there at least a photo?
There is a photo.
Okay, that helps.
Alrighty. Here is our Phantom Ghost statue.
Ooh, okay, but
Actually, pretty
honestly,
cool.
I kind of want to.
Like, sorry.
I froze. The fucking creepy ass doll is on the same page as this thing, and I had to cover it with my hand because
Here we go.
It was.
But yeah.
It was sucking the soul from my body as I stood there.
Yeah. So it looks like someone. Like,
it's really cool.
It's cool. Like I
want it.
I would get this for a Halloween decoration.
I would just put it up year round. It's fucking sweet.
Yeah.
This is a really cool statue. I will redeemingly put this picture up there as well, so people can understand the help that came after.
Yeah, it's really cool. It looks like someone dipped a sheet in like plaster and then just draped it over someone that was like sitting in like a hunch position. It would be really cool if you painted the inside of it black and then put like tea lights or something in it, so like glowing.
Okay, legitimately, if this is still posted, I'm depending on the price because we haven't gotten to that part yet. I kind of want it.
Okay, well, what's your guess?
For my own sanity, I want to see under 100, but it's Is it handmade?
I believe so. It looks handmade.
So if it's handmade, it's probably more because craftsmanship and we support local artists and all that shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say $325.
You were actually way above.
Oh,
they are asking $60.
Oh, I will buy that shit for $60.
They were originally asking $95, but they dropped it down.
I want it. I'm not kidding. I will buy that.
Alrighty. We're going to get into
the final one.
The final one.
Okay.
This is,
as long as it's not another doll, I'm happy.
This is what drove us into this what in the world topic.
This is what's to blame for you literally tormenting me.
Yes.
With the creepiest thing I've ever laid eyes upon.
I think you're going to hate this one more.
That's not making me feel this is my birthday month. And this is what you bring me?
Just
on this, the day of my birth, you bring me this.
Okay. First, I'm just going to read the title of this, get your reaction, and then I will read the description.
Okay.
Flush face lamp.
What in the Ed Gein bullshit are you getting me into here? Okay. Well, we're back to serial killers, people. So, buckle up because we might have just uncovered one in Duluth or Superior.
Yeah. Alrighty. Here's the description: homemade flesh face lamp.
Oh, fuck no!
Made with latex and wire.
Okay. Are we sure?
I'm going off of the description. I'm gonna fingers crossed.
I'll be the judge of that when I see the photo.
Oh. There was another.
Someone do a DNA test on that motherfucker. It's probably like some missing homeless person.
Yep. So, homemade flesh lamp made with latex and wire. I do a lot of special effects and made this piece a few years ago, but would like to make another one. So this one needs a new home.
Oh no. I don't even know what joke to make because all I'm thinking is fleshlight and Ed Gein, and it's not coming together in a good place in my brain.
Yep. Are you ready for the?
It looks like if pizza was a face.
Yep. That's kind of what I thought too.
No offense, sweetheart, but don't quit your day job.
Yeah,
there doesn't need to be two of these in the world. This one is
it's plenty.
It's enough.
It's very interesting. It's kind of like if you took I don't even know how to.
I need to get a close up of this one. It literally looks like ciabatta bread.
Oh my god, it does.
It's like if bread were a face.
Yeah, like it's like if you take pizza dough that has like sauce on it, but like it gets stretched too thin.
It's the dude from the Goonies. Hey, you guys! It's him!
Oh my god.
That's who it looks like. It looks like Sloth. It's Sloth if Sloth were bread. and
Here-
did drag.
Here's a picture on my phone because the photo
Yeah.
the quality's a little better.
Oh no, it's legitimately sloth as bread and pizza
Oh my
combined.
god, I see it now.
I
see it now.
kind of love it now that it's grown on me.
Okay.
I don't want it because it's clearly cursed.
Yeah.
But it's grown. It's not as bad as the doll. The
Okay.
doll is way worse.
Fair enough. How much is the price right?
There's no right
For
price.
this
It's
flesh-
it's priceless.
For this priceless.
It's priceless.
This- This flesh-faced lamp. It's fresh. It's priceless.
So they fancy themselves an artist.
But they needed to give it.
But
a
they
new
need to get
home.
rid of it because they want to make another one for whatever.
Each their own, and maybe it's gonna have a new expression. Maybe they're gonna base it off someone else's face.
Maybe it'll be Shrek this time.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, Shrek and Sloth like live in the same sphere in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
$85.
You are not far off.
Nope.
They were originally posted it for $80,
Ooh.
and they dropped it down to $60.
You know, good for them.
I respect it.
I respect it. Do I like it? No.
Nope.
Do I want that creepy ass face in my house? Absolutely not. But I do know there are people in the world that would be all over that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If that is they would, yeah.
Yeah. So
It's just the title. We got to work on the title. Call it Pizza Sloth Lamp.
Pizza Sloth Lamp.
Pizza Sloth Lamp.
Yep.
You're going to sell it immediately if you're listening to this podcast, which you probably aren't.
Call it Buffalo Bill Lamp because it makes me think of Silence of the Lambs.
Yes. Or call it the Glowing Geen.
Yeah. There we go.
Just flesh lamp.
Yeah.
Sounds too much like fleshlight, which is not the connotation you want.
And if you don't know what one is, please do not look it up. Do not put that on us.
Put your incognito mode on first.
Yeah.
And then look.
Yeah.
Or don't.
Yeah.
And just
Move
stay
on.
innocent, and it's better for you
Just move
that
on.
way. But yeah, well, thank you for traumatizing me.
You're welcome.
On this.
Are you saying what in the world?
What the fuck? Not even the world. Just why?
On a positive side of something that came out of all these weird
need
things on Facebook.
Shower.
While looking for all of these funky, weird things, I found something for work.
Oh, okay.
And it was a golden ear.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, we bought this.
I love that.
Yep. So, for those of you that don't know me, I work for an audiology clinic. So we are all about ears. And while I was scouring the internet, I came across a statue of a giant golden ear.
I kind of love that.
It is literally 3 feet tall, and we got it for the office. So now it is sitting in our office for a nice conversation piece for
I
our
love that.
patients.
That's very cool.
So some good came out of it. And we got it for
Something good had to happen.
pretty good deal. And fun fact about the ear that we purchased, when I went to go pick it up, the gentleman that I spoke to about it said it was made by the same artist who helped make some of the Snoopy statues from Camp Snoopy.
Oh, cool. Oh, I
So we
miss
got-
Camp Snoopy.
Yeah.
R.I.P. You were way better than stupid Nickelodeon.
Mm-hmm. So I got a little piece of Minnesota history in my office now.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Have I redeemed myself now? Oops.
I will eventually forgive you.
Okay.
Eventually.
Eventually. You love me too much.
Maybe.
All right. Spooky Spotlight.
All
We
right.
get into some spookies. Ding, 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 ding.
Spotlight
So,
on.
with our card being temperance, and one of the things that is attributed to that is patience as well.
Something
again,
I don't possess, so yeah. That's appropriate.
got me thinking, like, who are the most patient people that I think walk this earth? And that would be for intensive care nurses or nursing home
Oh, yeah.
nurses.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Mm-hmm. So this one is for our hospital staff who have encountered ghosts in a hospital where people have died.
Ooh. Okay.
Yes,
I
yes,
like a
yes.
spooky hospital ghost.
Yeah.
As long as their
So-
gown is properly closed.
Mm-hmm. So I found this story from a person on Quora. It's like it's kind of like Reddit, but
Oh,
like
yeah.
questions.
Yep. Okay.
But
I've
yeah.
heard of it. I think I've dived into there. a few
Yeah.
times.
So the general question was like, as a hospital member, have you ever encountered a ghost before? Given that the hospital is a place where people have died, because I would assume that in places like that, There's got to be a lot of paranormal activity, but maybe
There's gotta be.
There's got to be with that many spirits.
Especially if they have like an ER where there's like traumatic death.
It'd be hard. Yeah. So my story comes from this one poster. I forgot to save her username, so I will go back and find it so we can credit her. But she worked in intensive care for 12 years and says she saw some very strange things. Here are some examples. One night, we had 4 patients in a row lose very important lines. No one was in the room with them. Our desks were designed so that we had a desk between 2 patients' rooms so we could see both at a time from our one location. Patients were sedated and on the vent. First had a central line that pulled out. We managed that, stabilized the patient, and then the next patient pulled out their breathing tube. The next, a feeding tube. And then the next was another breathing tube. There was no reason we could figure out for this. So just like boom, 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 4 patients in a row. They had like some line or tube
a very
just pulled.
Not nice spirit.
No, not nice spirit. Or maybe a nefarious nurse.
Lonely. They wanted friends.
Oh.
Just not the way to go about it, buddy.
Some patients would see a little boy in red pajamas come to their door or into their rooms. The patient would die soon afterwards.
That's not as cute.
I only had one patient that saw him, and she had a stroke afterward. We were doing comfort care only. I was working night shift. Throughout the night, she had periods of being afraid, so I would hold her hand and we would talk the best she could, and this would calm her down. During one such talk, she said, "Watch out for Bruce." Bruce is my dad's name. This woman didn't know me, did not know my dad, and I had no mention of him while taking care of her. I said, "Who's Bruce?" thinking maybe it was someone close to her. She laughed and said, "You know who he is. You look just like him." I had chills all over. I do look like my dad, just like him. She said, "Watch out for him. Make sure he doesn't fall," and then drifted off to sleep.
Oh, God.
Yeah. A little while after that, she saw the little boy dressed in red. She asked who he was, why we had a child in the unit. I told her we didn't. This was an adult ICU. I asked her to describe him. She said, "I guess he's about 2 or so, blonde, wearing red pajamas. He comes to the door and just stares at me. He doesn't come inside." She died later that day on the shift.
Wow. It's like the cat.
Yes.
The cat that predicts people's death.
Yeah. We had superstitions.
Pet.
We had superstitions about certain things, such as if a patient was dying, tie a knot in the bedsheet and the patient would last through your shift. Or if a patient was dying and it seemed to be unusually prolonged, open the doors or windows and give their spirit someplace to go.
I've heard that before.
Me too. Sometimes patients would hold on until a certain loved one arrived at the hospital to say their goodbyes. Some patients would hold on until a date had passed so they wouldn't die on an anniversary or birthday or another important date. I can make any sound because of the breathing tube. We tried to calm her down, tried to sedate her, but nothing worked. She had another cardiac arrest and died.
Sad.
After her death, we contacted her sons. It was then we learned why no one visited. She had abused her 2 sons their entire lives. Both had cut off contact with her. Whether you believe in hell or not, she was going somewhere she did not want to go.
Oh, there was something waiting for her.
So I think she was like starting to see the light and seeing where she was going to end up.
Like Dean Winchester in the end of season 3, starting to see the hell bitches around him.
Exactly. The writer says she has many more stories, but these are the ones that stand out the most.
Creepy, but also so cool. Hospitals are creepy in general.
Yes.
Because they just smell weird. And
there's so much sanitizer.
You never know, like, when you're in a hospital, like, there could be someone dying somewhere in that building at the same time you're there. And, like, they're unnerving.
It is. It's strange because it's such a mixed emotion because you can be going there for happy reasons or you can be going there for such, like, devastating reasons.
And more so the latter, I think, than...
For sure.
Because realistically, the only, like, happy thing that happens in hospitals is birth and then, like, some like procedures that are like helping people live better lives. But usually if you're in there, you're sick or in pain or dying or seeing someone in one of those situations.
Yeah. Weird. No thanks.
Pass.
Nope.
I could never work in a hospital. I could also never be a nurse because the first time someone threw poop at me, I'd quit.
Like, nope, no
I'd be
thanks.
like, yeah, it ain't worth it.
You don't get paid enough for that.
No.
So, thank you, nurses. Thank you,
Thank
all
you to
of
anybody who works in the medical field because y'all deserve sainthood.
Y'all made us something different.
Yep.
All right, birthday story.
Yes. So I am going to, in honor of my birthday, I am going to share one of the many, well, not even, it's more than one encounter, but this was one of the places that I've lived that held some of my more eerie encounters.
Okay.
But there's more to come and I can share others in the future. So, like I said, since it's my birth month, I thought it'd be fun to share one of my own spooky experiences. I have had dozens of spooky encounters over the years, starting as early as elementary school. And one place that probably had the most frequent occurrences was the first apartment I lived in college. It was a giant blue duplex on a corner lot. When I first moved in, I lived in the upstairs apartment. It was a 2-bedroom, but right next to the stairs that led down to the exit was a door that led up to the attic. Okay. For the most part, it was your typical attic, mostly finished with a few leftover boxes, odds and ends from previous tenants. I only utilized it to store holiday decorations because it was for a college student, it was a pretty spacious apartment. I didn't really need to store anything else there because it had big closets. But one thing I found really odd about this was that in the east side of the attic was a fully finished bedroom. I always found it weird that this place was listed as a 2-bedroom, both of which were on that second floor apartment. There was one on each end of the apartment, but technically there were 3 bedrooms. Regardless, I rarely went into the room in the attic because the space always felt weird. It was always cold, and even though it was an average sized room with plenty of windows, it somehow always felt small and cramped. At night when I would come home, or if I had to run something down to the mailbox, I'd always feel a little weird, a little chill on my spine when I walked past the attic door. I usually ended up just sprinting past it or like holding my breath and just getting past. It just creeped me out. Quite a few times I'd come home or wake up to find the attic door unlatched. It was an old house, and I thought the door and maybe just didn't shut super tight, or like the latch was old, whatever.
Yeah, because like I have some doors like that in my house where like
you just walk by it right and it kind of clicks open.
Yeah, the frame is kind of like a little crooked because the house is settled, so the door will just kind of like.
Yep. And so I originally just kind of chalked it up to that and ignored it. It always made me a little uneasy, kind of made my hair stand on end, but I would try to find a way to logic it away. Even though I hated the attic, I never had a good reason to, and right before I moved out of that apartment. About 6 or 8 months after I moved into the upstairs apartment, the downstairs tenant moved out, and the landlord offered me first dibs on the downstairs space. It was a bigger space than upstairs for the same price and came with the only off-street parking place. So, of course, I said yes.
Yeah.
While packing up my belongings, I had to go up to the attic and get the last few items that I had stored up there. When I did, I happened to spy something out of the corner of my eye laying on the floor of that little bedroom. I found it weird because I never put anything in there because, like I said, I didn't really like the space. And so I went to investigate and found, dead center of the room, a deceased pigeon laying on its back with its wings spread open on either side. If that wasn't ominous enough, there were no broken windows and no way in which that bird could have gotten in. And as far as I could tell, no logical explanation for its death.
Oh, God.
Yes. And this is what began the next year of very uneasy events for me.
Okay.
So once I got enough for the initial shock of the bird, and got a shovel to dispose of it carefully, I kind of moved downstairs, figured I don't have to deal with the attic anymore. Not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not the case. The downstairs proved to be just as creepy, if not more so. Because what is just as creepy as attics? Basements. And this basement was one of the creepiest I have ever seen. It, like I said, it was a ginormous house, like old, built in the like early 1900s when like all of the railroad and shipping industry was here.
Yeah.
So it was humongous. And the basement ran the full expanse of the
Ooh,
house.
Yeah, I have one of those.
But
They're
the
weird.
way that it was set up was so strange. It wasn't just one open space.
Was it like one that like they had like the little mini rooms and there's
Yes.
like the walls, like almost like the bottom of a ship?
Yes. But like none of the rooms were the same size.
Yeah.
They were all weird sizes and shapes and laid out in like a maze almost. Super fucking creepy. It was also like in a lot of these rooms, there was two in particular that just creeped me out. They were the ones closest to the doors, the stairs that led outside from the basement, because you could access the basement from outside on the west side of the house, like by the parking area.
Yeah.
Or from inside the downstairs apartment by the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a stairway that went down.
Yeah.
And a door. And there was two rooms right by that exit that went outside that like they had dirt floors.
Mm-hmm.
They had zero light. There were no light bulbs or electricity in them.
Mm-hmm.
And the doors were like pieces of plank nailed together in like the most uneven, unmatched form. That like, and then there was like a foot gap at the bottom of each of them.
So not even like a full ass door. It
No.
was just like,
and they just like, yeah, and they like, I don't know. We called them the serial killer room, which probably didn't help with.
you just perpetuated.
It didn't help. It was also the entire basement was infested with spiders, and I hate spiders. Not quite as much as I hate dolls, but it was not great. One of the most memorable moments came about 6 months after, probably 4 or 5, 6 months, something like that. After we moved into the downstairs apartment, I lived with a roommate at the time, a friend of mine at that time. And so the setup of the downstairs apartment was, it was like split into two.
Yeah.
So in the front half, you had this massive living room that spanned the entire front section of the building. And then the next section was split. Half was like a dining room area. And then the other half was the main bedroom and had like French doors. It was a really nice place.
Mm-hmm.
Super freaking cheap still. I can't believe I got it as cheap as I did. With a big like walk-in closet. It was huge. And then the other half of the building had the big kitchen, bathroom, and then the second bedroom, which was my bedroom, in the back of the house. And in between these two sections, there was this door. And it was like an old door, and it was, for whatever reason, like spring-loaded. So like if you did not prop it open, it would just stay shut.
Oh, okay.
Like it would shut on its own. It was weird. I never really understood why the door was like that. Like what purpose did it serve? Like I don't even know why there was a door there in the first place to like separate the two. Anyway,
that's a choice.
It was a choice. So we left it open all the time. We had found a couple like super big bricks and just put them in front of the door, and it worked great.
Okay.
However, there was one particular evening we were sitting in the living room watching TV. Later in the evening, I'd say like 8, 9 o'clock at night, and we heard the loudest bang I've ever heard. I literally thought someone had like driven their car into our house.
Oh.
It was that loud. The whole house shook, like reverberated, scared the frick out of the cat, and my dog at the time. She like beelined it. And at first, of course, we're both like, what the fuck just happened? And like terrified. And then like, we're like, well, we should probably go see what happened. So we went to investigate and found the door shut.
Oh.
One of the bricks was in the dining room, 8 to 10 feet away from the door. However, that's one thing, because the door shut into the dining room.
Yeah, so it may momentum's going to push it that way.
The other brick, the bigger brick, was in the kitchen. Which, let me explain to you how you got in the kitchen. When you walked through the door, you had to make 2 right turns to get into the kitchen.
Okay, so it's kind of like going into like a hallway, and then you had
went
to
into
go
a
down
hallway that was probably like 4 feet long,
Uh-huh.
and then you turned into the kitchen.
Oh.
This brick was not only in the kitchen, but it was halfway across the kitchen floor towards the back door. So it would have had to make 2 right turns and a left and slid another 6 feet.
Oh my God.
Yep.
No, thank you.
Yeah. It was terrifying. It never happened again. It was only the one time.
Mhm.
But forever, like the entire time I lived in that house, like it just weird shit happened. Like you'd hear noises, you'd hear there was one time we were home and I could have sworn we kept hearing a phone ringing.
Yeah.
Like a cell phone.
Yeah.
But both of us were holding our phone.
Mm.
And there was no one else in the apartment.
No, thank you.
And like it wasn't from upstairs, like it sounded like it was coming from the dining room.
No,
But it wasn't.
nothing.
We even like looked out the windows. But yeah, we also checked the windows like when this door thing happened. Like, okay, maybe if there was like a gust of wind. None of the windows were open. It wasn't windy. The heater wasn't even on to like blow air through. Not that it would have mattered because we had radiators. We didn't have forced air.
Right.
No logical explanation for, let alone how those bricks moved because they were heavy.
Mm-hmm.
They each weighed about 10 to 12 pounds.
Jeez.
And B, how the fuck that one brick got in the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, is it like ping pong or like pinball? Like ping, 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 ping. But the amount of force.
It would leave marks, and there were no
Yeah.
marks.
It would have had, oh, good.
It's almost as if it like materialized into
Yeah,
the
just-
other room.
Just bloop. We're going to go over here now and then boom.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that.
I don't either.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it was a creepy ass apartment. Gorgeous apartment. Don't get me
Maybe
wrong.
the ghost was just
nicest
doing-
apartment I've ever had. But I was not sad when I moved out because it just the whole place just gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, that just, no.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I didn't like it.
No. It sounds like the ghosts or whatever was there wanted to do some redecorating.
Apparently.
It did like where the bricks
Yeah.
were. Like,
So that was one of my many encounters. I have some more. I have one that's really creepy, but I'm going to save that one for a really special episode.
alrighty.
Maybe our 1 year anniversary.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
All right. Should we tarot?
Let's tarot.
We brought back the Buffy deck.
Buff, buff.
All right. Let's find out what we're doing next time.
Ooh.
Ooh, what do we get?
Steaks.
Ooh, we've got the 9 of Stakes. And this is, for those that are a Buffy fan, the image on this card is when Spike earns his soul and the demon in the cave is like shoving the soul into his body and there's like light radiating out of his very naked, very attractive, muscular chest. So the 9 of Stakes, and I maintain that because of the imagery on here, we could also tie it into the idea of souls or something like that.
Okay.
So what is the 9 of Stakes?
I'm looking that up
Represent.
right now. Alrighty. Or 9 of Wands or 9 of Stakes in tarot reading signifies determination, perseverance, and resilience in the face of adversity, representing a period of testing where one refuses to give up despite feeling weary and battle-scarred. Feels like my entire fucking existence of 2025 so far.
Also how brilliant of an image choice for them to use because he has to endure all these like trials to earn his soul back.
Yes.
Smart. Whoever made this deck
They were cooking.
they were smart.
They knew what they were doing.
And they definitely knew they were Buffy.
Yes.
Okay,
All right.
I'm intrigued by that.
Yes.
So yeah, we will be back next month with
Some more creature features.
some more what in the world?
I promise no more dolls.
No more fucking dolls.
And some more
Ever.
spooky spotlights.
Until then, I've been Kelly,
I've been Carson.
and we got weird.
We got weird.
Have-
Keep weird with it.
Stay weird, people. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.